Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Flights for many major airlines have been grounded this morning. We're live at RDU showing you which carriers say they're ready to get back in the sky.
And this morning we are dry on radar, but we do have some rain chances on the way later on today and for the weekend. We're going to go over that coming up.
And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God.
For the first time since his assassination attempt, former President Trump addressed the nation what he had to say as he accepted the Republican nomination.
Also, Governor Roy Cooper may have a bigger role in the upcoming election. Why analysts believe Democrats may turn to him as vice president if Joe Biden drops out. There'll be a lot of parts in motion there, but it is something for Friday fodder to talk about here. Good morning to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 50. We got to talk about the weather heading into the weekend. A lot of people like to make those plans. A little bit of a rainy weekend, on and off rain, Anthony.
Yeah, definitely not a total washout for us, but it's going to be where we get some bubble up storms during the afternoons and evenings, and then we see otherwise a good amount of dry time for the majority of us. Let's talk about where we sit right now. Though you can see here on radar, there's a little thin strip that's trying to spit out some light sprinkles, if you will, right around the Goldsboro area. That's not going to really amount to much, and most of us are going to see a totally dry forecast here through this morning. We take a live look, though. There is a look at our Roxboro camera. You can see trying to blow the flag around just a little bit, but we're looking pretty calm there overall. We go through the day itself, though. Our temperatures that are in the 70s right now, we should hit 88 this afternoon. That's actually below where we should be for this time of the year. Our normal is 91, so it's going to be kind of a difference compared to at least this pattern that we've been in. 88 there right about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 88 also looking pretty good for any plans. Scattered storms, though, are going to be a potential as we go through today. You can see some of that cloud cover hanging around there on Futurecast, but as we get closer to lunchtime, maybe a couple spotty storms. I think for the majority of us, we're looking pretty calm, and then that coverage may try and ramp up a little bit there as we get into this evening. More storm chances, though, on the way for the weekend. We will talk about that, Ken, here in a few.
All right, Anthony, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're seeing the usual slowdowns in the usual spots this morning. I take a closer look right now. If you zoom in right now to the Beltline, this is the northern part of the Beltline. That's usually around Lake Boone Trail. You're going to add about a minute or two to your morning commute. And that's really that single lane right there that where folks are trying to get onto Wade Avenue and eventually onto I-40 westbound. So just keep that in mind if you're about to head out this morning. This ramp right there on next to Wade Avenue, I'm going to try to figure out exactly what's causing that slowdown there on that ramp. As soon as I find out, I'll let you know. Also on the south side of the Beltline, right around the Jones-Franklin Road area, you're going to have a bit of a slowdown, maybe 1 or 2 minutes to your drive time this morning. Again, if you're getting ready to head out, give yourself a little extra time if that's part of your morning commute. Unfortunately, we're not able to show you those live traffic cameras this morning. It's likely becoming really evident to us that it's related to that global tech outage that we've been reporting on all morning long. But our sensors are working just fine, and that'll help us keep you updated in terms of what you can expect when you're heading out. You can always take us with you. Listen to us on the radio at 99.3 FM in Raleigh and 96.5 FM in Durham.
Thanks, Ken. And breaking news, as Ken was just talking about, a global IT outage is causing major problems this morning. If you're just joining us, here's what you need to know. The outage is hitting industries across the world, including airlines, banks, healthcare, and media broadcasters. Major U.S. airlines have grounded flights, and there are global delays. Cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike told NBC that an update led to the outages, and it is not a cyber attack. WRAL's Monica Casey is at RDU. Monica, you've been there all morning long. You've spoken to some travelers who are frustrated, but things slowly starting to get back on track.
Yeah, Michelle, it has been a long morning here, but if you take a look at behind me at security, we are seeing some people start to go through there. So there is a silver lining. Things seem to be getting better. If you take a look at the arrivals board here, though, at RDU, you can see just how many people have been impacted. American Airlines says as of 5 a.m., they were able to reestablish their operation. And now United says they are resuming some flights as well. I spoke with a woman who has been trying to get home for more than 2 days now. Her Frontier flight from Phoenix to Tampa first got stuck in Cleveland. Her second flight from here to Tampa was delayed overnight, and this morning she arrived to find a packed airport and another delay.
I'm looking at everyone else. It's like we're all in the same ship, as to say, or the same boat. At this time, it's a ship because it's so many people.
United has issued a waiver to help people with changing their travel plans. They tell me they expect to see disruptions throughout the day here. We have seen many Delta customers who came here to the airport hoping to fly out, just leave this building entirely. One man tells me he has been rebooked on a flight tomorrow. At RDU, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Again, this global IT outage, not a cyber attack, but in part is from a software update for Microsoft operating systems from an update that was implemented by cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. Now, just moments ago, the CEO of CrowdStrike spoke on the Today Show. Here's what George Kurtz had to say about what happened.
The system was sent an update, and that update had a software bug in it and caused an issue with the Microsoft operating system. And we identified this very quickly and remediated the issue. And as systems come back online, as they're rebooted, they're coming up and they're working. And now we are working with each and every customer to make sure that we can bring them back online.
And here's the thing, though, getting services back up and running will not be easy, according to tech experts that have spoken on CNBC. And the reason it will not be easily fixed, it turns out that these customers that cannot be updated remotely, that the problem has to be solved manually, endpoint by endpoint. And tech experts say this is expected to be a process that could take days. We'll continue to follow this here in the Live Center.
Big mess on Friday. Renee, thanks for that. Wilson County Church is a total loss this morning after this massive fire here. Neighbors say lightning hit the steeple of Spring Hill Presbyterian Church in Lucama, sparking that fire that caused the roof to collapse. Firefighters had to break out the stained glass windows of the church to get into the building. It took 8 different departments over an hour to get the fire under control. Members of the church tried to salvage as much as they could. One church member spoke with WRAL about what's next for the congregation.
It's a tight-knit community. Spring Hill Presbyterian followers are always working together, so this is something that we'll have to work through, but I feel sure that we'll be able to see a brighter moment.
That's a terrible sight from the video and photos. No one was hurt in the fire.
Former President Donald Trump is now officially the Republican nominee for president again. He accepted the nomination in a 93-minute speech last night to close the Republican National Convention. In his speech, he recounted the assassination attempt on him at a rally over the weekend in Pennsylvania. He also highlighted the deep policy differences between himself and President Biden. That includes on issues ranging from immigration to energy policy to the economy. He also made a call for unity.
I am running to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America.
And former First Lady Melania Trump also made a rare appearance as the Trump family sat alongside Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance.
Some of President Joe Biden's top officials are joining the call now for him to withdraw from the race. Dozens of sources say many senior-ranking White House and campaign officials have now privately said they believe Biden will leave the race. A Democratic governor in touch with party officials is quoted as saying the next 72 hours are big and this can't go on much longer.
As President Biden may be closing in on making a decision, more eyes are turning toward North Carolina. WRAL's Destiny Patterson is outside the legislative building in Raleigh this morning. Destiny, if Biden stops his re-election bid, the new Democratic ticket could include a very familiar face to North Carolinians.
That's right. Governor Roy Cooper is now getting a lot of new attention here. Apparently, there are reports that former President Barack Obama and U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi have privately expressed their concerns about Biden's campaign and all of this. 2 people close to the Biden-Harris campaign have told the New York Times that Cooper could be a viable option for vice president. With Trump currently leading in the polls, an NBC analysis shows that our state could make make the difference for Democrats. So it makes sense that Governor Roy Cooper would be pointed out here. In their efforts to win over North Carolina, a former chair of the Democratic National Committee told CNN he would favor a Harris-Cooper ticket. A political science professor says if Biden does drop out, it will be, quote, orchestrated chaos as others throw their hats in the ring.
Even if he thinks he is able to go on, even if he thinks he can beat Donald Trump, there's also the question of whether his party is going to be there with him. And I think that is perhaps the biggest legitimate concern for him.
If it's Joe Biden, if it's Kamala Harris, if it's Gavin Newsom, if it's Gretchen Whitmer, if it's any of these names, they all own the policies of the Biden administration because those are the same policies that they would have if they were running.
Cooper recently said that he hadn't had any conversations about the VP role. He said speculation like this only hurts the party. Right now, Vice President Kamala Harris is still showing her support for Biden. But of course, it seems like hour by hour, we're seeing more and more mounting pressure against Biden. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, Raleigh.
Covering Wake County, NC State Chancellor Randy Woodson will retire at the end of the upcoming school year. He made the announcement yesterday. Over more than 14 years, Woodson had a lot of successes, elevating NC State on the national stage. But the closure of Poe Hall and the fallout since has changed the way some view his legacy. Woodson's contract expires June 30th, 2025, and that is when he is expected to retire.
Coming up, protesters with animal rights groups are demanding action from the Fayetteville Police Department. The PETA rally asking police to retire one of their canines.
Plus your weekend best bets, from concerts to Christmas in July celebrations. That's after the break in our Out and About segment.
And radar is quiet this morning, but of course for those weekend plans, we are tracking some chances of some scattered storms. We're going to go over the timing on Futurecast and walk you through our Friday coming up. Welcome back. Time now is just about 8:16 here on our Friday morning, where we're starting off on a warm note with some humidity. But for this time of the year, this is about where we should be. We're in the upper 70s around the triangle. Let's say low to mid 70s for just about everyone else. It's quiet. We don't have much to speak of. There's just a little sliver of some light sprinkles across our southern counties, but at this point, not much of that or really any is reaching the ground. 88 degrees for us this afternoon. We should be at 91 though, so we're going to be below normal as opposed to the hundreds and 90-degree temperatures that we saw here in this summertime pattern that we've seen so far. We're going to go through the day itself, though, looking pretty quiet the next couple of hours. Even by lunchtime, there may be just a spotty shower or a thunderstorm popping up. We're not looking at any severe weather, though, like we saw in some spots and many spots yesterday evening. And then as we go through this afternoon and into this evening, same story as far as some scattered storms. Looks like just some regular coverage, nothing too concerning or any severe risk outlined for us today. Here's a look this evening, though, 8 o'clock tonight. If you're headed out and about for potentially dinner plans, just enjoying your Friday night, you may want to keep that in mind. Maybe pack the umbrella along just in case, but it won't be a lot of coverage. During our Saturday itself, it's going to be almost a repeat forecast where we start off pretty calm. We go through the day, which there will be a lot of dry time during our day itself. But we go into the afternoon, we could see some showers and storms trying to form here along kind of a system that's just sitting over top of us. Otherwise, no big problems here for the weekend. There is a severe risk outline tomorrow. It wouldn't surprise me if we see this kind of tweaked or dropped going forward, but nonetheless, it looks like we could see some gusty winds for any of those cells that get going. 87 tomorrow, 88 on Sunday. It will still feel like 96 though. Keep that in mind for any Sunday plans. Despite those temperatures actually being below normal, you factor in the humidity, it's still going to feel close to 100 into later on this weekend. A lot of rain chances in the forecast here over the next 7 days. Many to talk about. No day at this point is going to be a total drencher or washout. We could use one of those to kind of help with our drought situation, which is still out there across the area. But it looks like mainly the afternoons and evenings. So for instance, on our Sunday evening, that 70% chance right there. Monday, we start off relatively calm. Monday evening, it starts to pop back up. Temperatures, though, you'll notice that the highest we have on the 7 day is 90 degrees. I do not have any hundreds in the forecast. It will not feel like 100s. And morning temperatures still there in the low to mid 70s. So a very typical pattern for where we should be this time of the year, Ken.
Yay, no hundreds in the forecast. We like that, Anthony. Here's another thing you might like. Pretty much delay-free this morning on many of our major roadways this morning. We did get a report just a short time ago about this crash that happened on Strickland Road in the eastbound lane near Ray Road. This is in North Raleigh area. We're told it's a serious crash. Right now, it's not affecting your morning commute, but just keep that in mind. If you happen to be navigating Strickland Road and Ray Road this morning, you'll see quite a bit of police activity in that area. I isolated this area right here around the Beltline because usually there's a bit of a slowdown right now. 2 minutes ago, there was yellow showing up, a little bit of big tapping going on, but clearly it's free and clear this morning. Elsewhere around the Triangle and surrounding communities, all the major routes are delayed free this morning. We just heard from our meteorologist, Amy Wilmuth, who just pulled into a gas station. She says a lot of gas stations are using cash only, clearly as a result of that global tech outage we've been talking about. And we haven't been able to show you any live traffic cameras, and it's looking more and more likely that it's related to that global tech outage. But our sensors are working, and that'll help us keep you informed for the rest of the morning.
Vice President Kamala Harris was back in North Carolina yesterday. This time she was in Fayetteville. Her visit was the second trip to North Carolina in a week's time, 15th since taking office. On July 11th, she was in Greensboro with Governor Roy Cooper for a campaign rally. The Vice President addressed a packed crowd at Westover High School in Fayetteville. She spoke about Donald Trump's policies as president, which she described as ineffective and divisive.
Here's the thing. If you claim to stand for unity, you need to do more than just use the word. You cannot claim you stand for unity if you are pushing an agenda that deprives whole groups of Americans of basic freedoms, opportunity, and dignity.
For more on the Vice President's visit, you can go to the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com.
New this morning, Yemen's Houthi rebels have claimed responsibility for a drone strike on Tel Aviv that injured at least 10 and killed 1 earlier this morning. The explosion happened about 1 block away from a U.S. Embassy branch office. Yemen's Houthis have repeatedly launched drones and missiles toward Israel throughout the 9-month-long war in sympathy with Hamas. Until today, all were intercepted by either Israel or Western allies. It's not clear right now what response Israel will have.
Today, protesters will call for Fayetteville police to release all the video related to an incident involving an officer and his canine last month. There's a short video that went viral that appears to show an officer punching a canine, lifting it off the ground, pulling it. Fayetteville police conducted an internal investigation. The report didn't say if action was taken regarding the officer or the canine. The report does say while the team was on an investigation, the dog bit the officer on the thigh and wouldn't let go. The handler then hit the dog 7 times. This week, PETA urged city officials to remove the canine from the handler's custody and retire it. Today, protesters will call for the handler to be reassigned to duties not involving animals and call for an external investigation.
In a display of showmanship during the final night of the Republican National Convention, famed wrestler Hulk Hogan took the stage in support of former President Trump.
When they took a shot at my hero, and they tried to kill the next president of the United States, enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother.
Hogan and Trump are longtime friends dating back to when Trump Plaza hosted 2 WrestleManias in the 1980s.
Don't get any ideas that we're not related. The summer is heating up, and there's no shortage of fun events happening in the Triangle. WRAL lifestyle editor Kathy Hanrahan has your guide to the weekend with out and about best bets.
What do they got in there, King Kong?
Families can save money by enjoying one of these 3 free movie screenings this weekend. On Friday night, the 1993 classic Jurassic Park will be shown at downtown Cary Park. The fun starts at 6 p.m. with activities and games, followed by the movie at dusk. On Saturday morning, Carolina Theater in Durham will have a free Retro Family Day movie screening of the Disney classic, The Princess and the Frog. The movie starts at 11:30 a.m. All moviegoers will need to get a voucher to attend the free screening. You can pick those up at the box office 30 minutes before the show. And Saturday night, the town of Wake Forest will host its family movie night at Joyner Park. There will be a free screening of the movie Kung Fu Panda 4. The fun starts at 7:30 p.m. with a character meet and greet. The movie starts at 8:30. There's also some live music this weekend. On Friday night, North Carolina indie rock band The Connells will perform at the North Carolina Museum of Art's Outdoor Theater. On Saturday, the Queens of R&B tour stops over at Coastal Credit Union Music Park at Walnut Creek in Raleigh. Escape and SWV are headlining. And on Sunday, Third Eye Blind will play the Coastal Credit Union Music Park at Walnut Creek. They will be joined by Yellow Card. These are just a few ways to get out and about this weekend. Kathy Hanrahan, WRAL News.
A global tech outage is causing major issues for airlines and other businesses. We'll continue to keep you updated as we follow the effort to restore communications. That's ahead in our next half hour here on Fox 50.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione has our weather forecast and what we can expect today and this weekend. Anthony.
Michelle, it's going to be another warm one for us today. A lot of humidity across the area, but temperatures only reaching close to 90. I don't think we will quite get there, though. That's going to be a difference for us compared to the past couple days. Shower and storm chances, though, stick with us this afternoon and evening. It shouldn't be a lot, but that possibility is even there through the weekend. 87 on Saturday, 88 on Sunday. We could see, it feels like temperatures Sunday afternoon at about 96. All of those temperatures, though, in the next 7 days below 100. So we're going to be at 90 on Tuesday. Scattered storm chances, though, through the next 7 days, Ken.
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Just a really quiet start to your morning commute this morning. We've been monitoring a serious crash there on Strickland Road near Ray Road. It's not affecting any traffic in that immediate area, but just keep that in mind. You'll see some police activity in that area. This crash just happened as I was waiting to come on the air just now, so I'll give you an update at the top of the hour, bottom of the hour over on Fox 50. Elsewhere around the Triangle and surrounding communities, all on major roadways are delay-free at this hour.
Thanks, Ken. A global IT outage is creating problems for airlines, banks, and businesses worldwide. Right now, all flights at many major airlines are grounded, creating a busy day at RDU and airports globally as you look live there. Industry experts say the outage is linked to cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. Microsoft Windows is among its clients. And tomorrow, Nancy Pelosi will be in Raleigh for a Democratic Unity Dinner. It comes as there's new attention on Governor Cooper. Sources close to the Biden campaign told the New York Times that Cooper could be an option as VP if Biden drops out. And next on Fox 50, we'll have more on your weather for today and this weekend.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Right now at 8:30, widespread tech outages are creating headaches for airline businesses and banks and many other businesses globally. The problem it's creating as travelers are stuck at airports worldwide.
And a mostly quiet morning for us as far as the weather is concerned. Just a couple light sprinkles for some of us out there, but we are tracking some weekend rain chances. We're going to talk about when they could get here coming up.
And for the first time since he was shot in the ear, President Trump addressed the nation. The major takeaways from his speech as he accepted the Republican presidential nomination. Thanks so much for joining us here on your Friday morning. Happy Friday. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, how about that? We got the temperature change. Happy Friday, except for that whole cyber snafu globally.
Yeah.
Thanks for making us part of your routine here. Anthony Baglione is over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center looking at those temps right now.
Yeah, temps feeling good here for where we should be this time of the year. It is still humid across the area, and I don't see a big reduction in that really anytime soon. But for where we should be, we're at 77. That's about on par for this time of the year. 73 there in Clinton. Good morning to you in Goldsboro, checking in at 73 as well. It is going to actually, check that out, be below normal as we go for a high temperature today of 88. We should be in the low 90s. I don't see that happening today for a big difference compared to the hundreds that we've seen in this pattern so far. Scattered shower and storm chances, though, stick with us today, minus the severe potential that we saw yesterday. Let's go through Futurecast so you can see the next couple of hours we're looking good to go. There may be a sprinkle or two, but for the majority of us, we're looking fine. Lunchtime also advertising that potential. We have a lot of cloud cover out there right now, so we'll go for partly to mostly cloudy skies today. I do think there will be some peaks of sunshine, not a lot of it getting through, though. There's 3 o'clock as we get closer to that evening commute. Some of those shower and storm chances may ramp up just a tad. Again, I don't expect any severe weather, and then we get get into this evening, they start to quiet on down. That's kind of round one of many, many rain chances that are on the way, including our weekend. We will walk through that forecast specifically, Ken, coming up here in a few.
All right, Anthony, look forward to that happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're getting reports of a disabled vehicle at St. Mary's Road and Wade Avenue. We looked at our sensors, not really causing any problems for you in that area, so just keep that in mind if you're getting ready to head out this morning. This crash just happened just a little while ago, actually just a couple of minutes ago. Give me 10 minutes, I'll try to figure out exactly what's going on and let you know if that's going to affect your morning commute at all. This crash we've been following for the last 45 minutes. It's a serious crash on Strickland Road and Ray Road. As you can see from our sensors, it's not causing any problems in that area, but just keep that in mind if you're going to head out. You can see some police activity in that area. Elsewhere around the triangle, all the major routes are delayed for you this morning. Unfortunately, we have not been able to pull up our traffic cameras. We're working to find out if that problem is related to the global tech outage that we've been talking about all morning long. Likely that's the case, but as soon as we figure out what's going on, we'll let you know. But all our sensors are working, and that's really helping to keep us informed, to keep you informed, so you'll know exactly what to expect when you head out.
Ken, a lot of stuff not working out there. As breaking news, we've been following a global IT outage. It's causing some major problems this morning. If you're just joining us and getting up and getting moving on your Friday, here's what you need to know. That outage is hitting industries around the world, across our country, but beyond, including airlines, banks, healthcare, media broadcasters. Major U.S. airlines have grounded flights. There are global delays. Cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike told NBC an update led to the outages. It's not a cyber attack. We've team coverage for you, the worldwide impact. Renee Chu is in the WRAL Live Center. She'll tell us about the impacts to the DMV and gas stations that you'll definitely want to know about. And we start with WRAL's Monica Casey live at RDU. And this is a travel nightmare for folks who are trying to get out and fly this morning, Monica.
Yeah, Jeff, it has been a frustrating morning for people here, but you can see behind me, we are seeing people going through the security lines, so a silver lining here. If you take a look at the arrivals board, you can see so many flights delayed or canceled popping up there. American Airlines said as of 5 a.m. they were able to reestablish their operations, and now United says they are resuming some of their flights as well. I've spoken with people who have been traveling for days, impacted by weather leading up to this, trying to get home. I also spoke with a man who was here from Atlanta trying to get home. His flight was supposed to be at 5:30 this morning, and now he's been rebooked for 8 a.m. tomorrow.
A little frustrated, a little uptight because I was supposed to get back for one of my kids' performances this afternoon, so not too happy about missing that.
United has issued a waiver for people to try to change their travel plans. That airline says they expect disruptions throughout the day. We have seen a lot of Delta customers who have been in this area of the airport for hours, some of them just leaving the airport and heading home, telling me they're going to try again tomorrow to get to their destinations. At RDU, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
And here in the WRAL Live Center, we are tracking more of those local impacts from this global technology outage. DMV offices, if you're heading to one of those today, just know that they may unable to assist you because of the global Microsoft and CrowdStrike outage. Their computers not working at this morning. Also, gas stations, if you're pulling up to a gas station, this is what meteorologist Amy Wilma saw this morning before she headed into work. This Circle K had a sign that said cash only, so their payment processing systems are down because of this global tech outage. But this morning, CrowdStrike CEO apologizing for the outage that his cybersecurity firm caused. And he said, as an explanation as to what happened, that the system that CrowdStrike had was sent an update, and that update had a software bug in it, and that caused an issue with the Microsoft operating systems. Huge ramifications across the globe that we'll be tracking all morning in the WRAL Live Center. Former President Donald Trump is now officially the Republican nominee for president again. He accepted the nomination in a 93-minute speech last night to close the Republican National Convention. In his speech, Trump highlighted the deep policy differences between himself and President Biden. That includes on issues ranging from immigration to energy policy to the economy. He also recounted the moments immediately after the assassination attempt on him at a rally over the weekend in Pennsylvania.
I raised my right arm, looked at the thousands and thousands of people that were breathlessly waiting, and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight."
Some of the people in attendance at the convention wore bandages on their ears, similar to the one that Trump has worn since the shooting. In his speech, Trump said that he is calling for unity, saying he is running to be president for the whole country, not half of it.
Former First Lady Melania Trump also made a rare public appearance during the final night of the RNC. Her husband thanked her during his speech. She later joined him on stage along with the rest of the Trump family.
And as the calls for President Biden to drop out of the race intensify, speculation is growing about what the Democratic ticket might look like without him. WRAL's Destiny Patterson is live outside the legislative building in Raleigh this morning. And Destiny, a lot of people looking toward North Carolina now.
That's right. As the Democrats look towards what that ticket could look like, there's now new attention on Governor Roy Cooper. I mean, we've also had several national political figures that have made it a point to come to North Carolina. Kamala Harris was just here yesterday. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will be here tomorrow. So it really speaks to that traction that they're trying to gain here in North Carolina as Trump leads the polls. We've also seen and heard from sources close to the Biden-Harris campaign who've told the New York Times that Cooper could be a viable option for vice president. In their efforts to win over North Carolina, a former chair of the Democratic National Committee told CNN he would favor a Harris-Cooper ticket. An NBC analysis shows that our state could make the difference for Democrats.
He was an attorney general at the same time Kamala Harris is attorney general. They know each other. As you just said, she at least says publicly that she likes Roy Cooper. He's not a controversial figure in any way.
It would have relatively little impact. The last time a North Carolinian was vice president, I think North Carolina went a Republican by about 12 points or so. And I would take great delight in helping ensure a similar outcome this year.
Mercer is referring to John Edwards. John Kerry tapped him to be his running mate back in 2004. Cooper recently said that he hadn't had any conversations about the VP role. He says speculations like this only hurt the Democratic Party. Of course, right now, Vice President Kamala Harris is still showing her support for Biden, but there is mounting pressure, it seems like, hour by hour against the president. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, Raleigh.
Covering Wake County, NC State Chancellor Randy Woodson will retire at the end of the upcoming school year. He made the announcement yesterday. Over more than 14 years, Woodson had a lot of successes, elevating NC State on a national stage. But the closure of Poe Hall and the fallout since has changed the way some view his legacy. Woodson's contract expires June 30th, 2025, which is when he's expected to retire. Breaking news, we're following. Russia sentenced American journalist Evan Gershkovich to 16 years in prison. Just in the last hour, that verdict was announced, and Gershkovich was found guilty of spying. The Wall Street Journal reporter was jailed 16 months ago on charges of espionage. He and his employer and the U.S. all deny those charges.
Today marks 1 year since a destructive EF3 tornado hit Nash County. The tornado touched down on July 19th, 2023, around 12:30 p.m. in the Brattleboro and Dorchester communities. An estimated 90 homes and buildings were damaged or destroyed, including the Pfizer plant in Rocky Mount. It's the first EF3 tornado to ever hit central North Carolina in the month of July.
20 minutes before 9, coming up, people who run those food carts on Glenwood South say their businesses are struggling after a new ordinance. Why the effort to reduce crime in the area may be putting their businesses at risk.
And parents, sometimes you just need to laugh. We have the results of a study looking at how humor impacts how your child views you later in life.
Plus, you're taking a live look right now. This is Southern Pines, Longleaf Golf and Family Club right now. After the break, meteorologist Anthony Baglione will walk us through our storm chances for the day and throughout the weekend.
All right, let's get a check here on radar this morning where we've seen just a little thin kind of strip of some light rainfall showing up there around the Goldsboro area or kind of heading along I-95 toward Goldsboro. Not much coverage with that, and it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of that is not actually reaching the ground. But where we sit currently, you can see even around Smithfield, up I-95 toward Wilson, Rocky Mount, could pick up on a couple light areas of some probably just sprinkles or light showers. Through the day itself today, though, we go to 88 degrees. That's going to be below where we should be for this time of the year in the low 90s. Off and on storms are possible mainly later this afternoon into this evening. Very similar to what we saw yesterday, only we're not looking at a severe risk today. We had a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings, flash flood warnings, all of that come out yesterday. I do not anticipate that today. We go through Futurecast. You can see we're pretty quiet the next couple of hours, even lunchtime, just a hit or miss shower. Even through this afternoon and evening, some of those may stick with us. There's 3 o'clock. By that evening commute, we could see some light activity around 5 o'clock. I'll pause this. You can see that timestamp up in the corner. Scattered storms are going to be around the area, so that could affect our evening commute. And then once we lose the daytime heating, a lot of that should start to fizzle on out. We check out the weekend, though. Very similar story. Afternoon and evening storms are possible. We're at 87 for us tomorrow, 88 on Sunday. A mostly dry start there, though, for your Sunday. I don't anticipate any big issues starting off. Feels like values, though, will still be probably 96, 97 degrees or so. Not the 100s and over that we saw last week with heat advisories. I don't anticipate that happening. Here's a look at our Saturday, though. So we do have a level 1 out of 5 severe storm risk tomorrow. I do think at this point, looking at the latest data, this is probably overdone, but we could see some instances maybe where there's some gusty winds coming through tomorrow. Look at our rainfall totals, though. So far here in July, kind of interesting, even though we are currently in a drought, we've been above normal by almost 1.5 inches for rainfall in Raleigh, a little bit below an inch there in Fayetteville. The reason we are in a drought, despite having those rainfall totals above where we should be, we've seen some pretty dry months in, let's say, June, April. We've seen totals actually well below where we should be. 87 for us on Saturday. We're going to make up that deficit, I think, pretty much big time here the next week or so with all these rain chances. 89 Monday, 90 on Tuesday. Scattered storms stick with us there as we head into the majority of our forecast through next week, guys.
All right, thank you, Anthony. It was a wild weather day in the Triangle yesterday, as we could experience some more of that tonight, as Anthony was just mentioning. In downtown Raleigh, first responders, they performed a water rescue near Union Station. A woman's car stalled out in high floodwaters. A few blocks over, water flooded Hargett Street as well. In Durham, storms toppled this tree behind the Medical Plaza on Hillendale Road, another on Holder Road. Then over in Garner, a rainbow appeared as the storms came to an end.
During his speech last night at the Republican National Convention, former President Donald Trump paid tribute to the man who was killed during the assassination attempt Saturday. He asked for a moment of silence for Corey Compertor. Compertor's firefighter gear was sent to the convention and was on display during Trump's speech, and he walked over to it and kissed it on stage.
There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for others. This is the spirit that forged America in her darkest hours.
Compertor will be laid to rest today in Pennsylvania during a private funeral. Saturday's shooting also critically injured 2 other men at that rally. Trump says they're recovering and will be okay. He says supporters have raised more than $6 million for the families of the people shot.
Food cart operators on Glenwood South say their businesses are at risk. They say a city-mandated change to their hours is hurting their profits. The city says it's part of an effort to reduce crime in the social district. Vendors say the change is forcing them to miss out on peak business hours. That's because they now must close before bars do. The city first ordered food stands to change their closing time from 3 a.m. to 1:15 a.m. back in 2021. And last year, that rule was expanded to carts on private property. Food cart owner Alex Gromo wants City Council to reconsider.
I would want them to this time to consider what they're doing and don't believe automatically that we are the problem.
He says that he has made about $800 in sales so far this month. That's down from the more than $4,000 the same time last year.
Raleigh leaders want you to learn, live, and eat tomorrow at what they're calling Saturday on South. They'll have free food and fun for the whole family on West South Street, right between Dawson and McDowell Streets. The city says it's a chance to learn about the plan to relocate Red Hat Amphitheater in that area. If the plan is adopted, South Street will likely be closed to vehicles between Dawson and McDowell Streets for pedestrian traffic.
Having a sense of humor can have a positive impact on how your kids view you. That's according to a new study. Researchers talked to 300 people about their experiences being raised with or without humor, and they found people raised by adults with humor had a better view of their parents or caregivers. Those people say themselves they would use the same parenting technique. Experts caution the study is small and further research is needed.
Moving houses frequently as a child could lead to a higher risk of developing depression later in life. This is according to a new study published Wednesday. It reveals children ages 10 to 15 who moved once are 41% more likely to develop depression once they reach adulthood. When kids move twice or more at those ages, the number jumps up to 61%. Researchers followed almost 1.1 million people who were born in Denmark between 1981 and 2001.
Fans and friends are remembering the life of the legendary Bob Newhart, who died yesterday at the age of 94. President Biden mourned him in a post on X, calling him a comedy legend and beloved performer who kept Americans laughing for decades. Carol Burnett posted this tribute to social media, saying Newhart was as kind and as nice as he was funny. And Kaylee Cuoco, who worked with Newhart on The Big Bang Theory, called him classy, kind, generous, and absolutely hilarious.
Twister star Glenn Powell is branching out from his newly found fame. David Daniel has that story in today's Hollywood Minute.
Glenn Powell is chasing more than movie stardom. As the Twister star prepares for his next film role, he's also working on getting his college degree. Powell tells IndieWire he'll be in class at the University of Texas in Austin when he can. When he's in London shooting The Running Man, a remake of the movie based on the Stephen King novel, he'll attend classes via Zoom. Powell says Running Man director Edgar Wright has been very nice about giving him time to study during production. Cirque goes country. Cirque du Soleil Song Blazers, the performing collective's first show dedicated to country music and its storytelling, debuted in Nashville, Tennessee this month, and the show's soundtrack album, ranging from classic ballads to modern hits, goes on sale today.
No sane man would want the leprosy. The men who are dangerous are the ones who do want it. That sounds ominous.
The Pope has died, and a new pontiff must be chosen, but a secret threatens the entire Catholic Church in conclave. Ralph Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, and Isabella Rossellini star in the Vatican thriller. The official trailer was just released, and the film opens in select theaters November 1st and across the U.S. November 8th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
More than 10,000 Olympians from around the world will be in Paris for the Olympics, which are now just a week away, 7 days and counting. 2 swimmers representing Poland will also be representing NC State Wolfpack at the Games. Bartosz Piskorowicz and Kasper Stokowski, they are teammates, roommates, and friends, and they competed together for the Polish national team and the junior national team as well before they both came to NC State together. Well, now they're going to the Olympics together.
We'll get to celebrate together and we'll get to compete together at the biggest stage. So since we were 14, we're dreaming about it, and right now the dream's becoming true.
Now, Piskorowicz also qualified for the Olympics in Tokyo 3 years ago, but he was sent home because of an administrative error. He joined the Wolfpack swim team a few weeks later and credits the coaches there for saving his career. WRAL is your home for the 2024 Summer Olympic Games. We will have live coverage from July 26th through August 11th with live reports from Paris coming up 6 a.m., 6 p.m., and 11.